My name is Brick. I'm practically a day one Genshin player. I do love the meta, and today I'm gonna talk to you about Varesa. Her pull value, her place in the meta, her gameplay and how fun she is, and today I'm gonna convince you that she's actually a must pull. And maybe, just maybe, she might be the best pull in the entire game. So let's get into it. I'm a yapper, but please stay with me because I really do love Varesa and I really do want to convince you and tell you, spread the good word of Varesa because I just love her so much, so please stick with me. So a little bit more about myself. I am a meta player. I've been playing since day one, but I really love, doing Spiral Abyss and getting 36 stars whenever I can. I mained Hu Tao. That's my baby. That's my girl. I love Hu Tao till this very day. But yeah, I try to get 36 stars in Abyss every single time. But I did stop playing in 2023. Early 2023. So that was around Sumeru. I stopped playing. I stopped playing a lot of Sumeru. I wasn't there for Fontaine. My girlfriend logged in and got me Farina because she said she was broken. So that was lucky that I had the pulls and she just got it for me. And I didn't play for most of Natlan. I started playing in like 5.8 maybe. So this year in 2025, no, it's 2026. Oh my god. So yeah, in 2025 I started playing. So I got Skirk. I didn't get Mavuika, but I saved up and I got Lauma and Nefer. So I have some of the Nod Cry mechanic stuff. I have Skirk. I don't have Esco, which is tough. But I really did think, I kind of have a hole in the kind of Electro DPS side of things. My best Electro DPS is like what? Raiden? I have Sino, I have Kaching, so I have Yai. So they're all outdated and they were never really that good. I mean, Raiden was really good for a time, especially the C2 havers, C2R1, C3 havers, especially with the C6 Sara. I still don't have a Sara. That's C6. Unfortunately, I got C5 because I got on standard banner, but still, I think I just felt like there was a hole in my account where an Electro DPS could really slot in and it would make my account feel a lot more whole, have a lot more variation, a lot of different things to throw different bosses, especially now with Stygian Onslaught. So that made me think of Varesa. Oh, Varesa. What can I say about Varesa? When I first saw her, so my girlfriend's a Xiao main. She loves Xiao. And she just kept telling me that there was this new plunge DPS and she's like way better than Xiao. And it hurt her feelings that they would make someone who's better than Xiao at his only thing, which is plunge. But yeah, so Varesa I already had a little bit of I was a little biased against her because, how dare you do that to Xiao? My girlfriend loves Xiao. And when I saw her, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of fan servicey. This is kind of bait. I don't really like, the whole thing. I didn't like her design at first, and I thought that this was going to be some real fan service. But I realized that, looking at Genshin comparatively to all the other gachas, all the other games out there, the fan service isn't really that bad. It's pretty fine. Like, it's not crazy. It's not like crazy fan service that you'd see in other games, so it's actually fine. And I realized that, my thing in Genshin, I love cute. So I love Hu Tao, I love Nilo, I love Kaching. They're so cute and great. I don't really go for the mommies. Not really. I just love the cute. Nilo is maybe my favorite character, but now I think she has been dethroned because you know what, Varesa, even if everyone hates her for whatever, I don't know, they hated her so much, maybe her design, but even if she's designed that way, she's actually really cute. Like, you look at her, it's just wholesome cute, it's just a girl. She likes eating, she likes plunging. She rubs her bottom because she just uses it to plunge and destroy worlds. So I really love Varesa now that I think about it. And the months leading up to me pulling on her banner recently, I was always on the fence because of one thing, and that's meta. So as you know, I really care about meta. I really think about my account as something that I need to spend a lot of time on to really put a lot of work into actually finding a way to spend the least amount of resources and get the best teams that can clear the most amount of content. Now, I know it's a lot of words that I just said, but it's like, I can't clear everything. I don't have enough right now for Stygian, especially on some things like, the Arlecchino shell. I don't have enough brute forcers to really keep up to date, because like, who do I have on my account? My best characters were like Hu Tao and Alhaitham, and they don't really stack up to today. It's a good thing I got Nefer and Lama. That is something, but I really am thinking about the meta and really thinking, okay, if we're thinking meta, there is one game-breaking unit that's just on the horizon, and that's Columbina. When I started in around 5.8, I saw Varesa and I really wanted her, but there were so many like leaks that were like, oh, she'll be at 6.0, no, she'll be at 6.1, no, she'll be at 6.2. I just wasn't prepared because I needed to prepare myself mentally. I wanted Varesa, but I knew that if she was kind of close to maybe Columbina, Esco, Lama, those are the other ones that I wanted. I needed to really make sure that if I do get Varesa, which is, this is her rerun, so she's not the newest, she's not the most shilled DPS character, I had to really think about it. What really cemented it for me was, well, I was already growing attached to her because I really liked her, and I was watching a lot of content about her. And Columbina looming over the horizon, I'm like, this is maybe not a smart idea. But then I thought, what if her banner is good? And then the banner came out, and the banner is good. Okay, now let's talk about the Varesa banner, right? This banner that's currently up right now, please, I hope I edit this video quickly. I'm really worried that I might not edit this quickly and it might not be out in time, but I really hope so because I want to convince you to pull, all right? But this banner is so goated that I don't recall any other banner that's been this good in a long time, especially for newer players. But we'll get into that later, okay? Now, when we're talking about meta, the best teams out there, they're multiple cost teams. And multiple cost meaning they cost multiple 5 stars, right? So let's think about multiple cost teams that are at the top of the meta right now. Nefer, Lama, Columbina. It's going to be Flynn's, Inefa, Columbina. It's Skirk, Esco, Farina. It's Mavuika, Sitlali, Shilonen. Well, technically, Yansan C6 might be better than Shilonen in that spot. Then you could put Bennett, so maybe that's a 2-cost team. But even then, okay, all these teams require lots of different 5 stars from different banners. And, sometimes these banners are close together. You have to be prepared for these banners. That's what's tough. You have to be prepared. You have to have all the primos. If they're back-to-back, you're kind of fucked. It's hard to have a multiple cost team, especially as an F2P, and especially as, a person who's a bit more casual. They're not really playing every day, all the time. Now, this is why this banner is so good. Varesa is on the banner, along with 2 of her very best units that you want on her team. All right, 2 of them are on there. Okay, that's Yansan and that's Chevrus. Now, these 2 units, okay, first of all, Zadjeff just said that Chevrus might just be the best 4-star in Genshin, and I might agree. Well, we'll talk about that later. But that's Chevy and that's Yansan, and these 2 are on her team. So if you pull on this banner and you get yourself an Yansan, you get yourself a Chevy, and you have a Varesa, you have 3 people in the team, and you just need to fill the 4th slot. Now, you could have a Mavuika if you already have one. You could have pulled for Durin on the last patch. On the last banner. Honestly, Shangling, I used her in Abyss, and you could use Pyro MC, so there's a lot of people you could use in that 4th slot. What I'm saying is, you could get an entirely functional, working, very good team at that for the cost of 1 5-star. You get 2 of the best, right, of her supports, and also 2 of the best units in the entire game, not just for Varesa. You could use Yansan for Mavuika, you could use Chevrus for Arlecchino, you could use for Clorand, Arlecchino. She's one of the best units in the game, all right? She made Overload a thing, even if it's not even a thing. But because of Chevy, it's a thing. There's one more character who's on that banner who might not be as high profile or honestly as popular as Yansan or Chevy, and that's Gaming. But Gaming is the premier, the very best 4-star DPS in the entire game. Now, that's nothing to scoff at because, as I said, this banner, especially if you're a new player, you get on this banner, you're a new player, if you get all of these characters, then you not only get Varesa with 2 of her best supports, you also get a Pyro DPS who's very good, who also works with Yansan and Chevrus. So even if you don't get Varesa, you get Gaming Ansan Chevrus, and you get a Rosaria to apply melt. Apply cryo, and then you can melt all your plunges. This is really good, because if you're starting off, alright, you have a Varesa team, let's say you pull on this banner, you're starting your account, you got a Varesa team, that's enough to hold you down. But let's say there's an enemy that you can't fight with Electro, well, here you go. Here's your Gaming. Also, better DPS than a lot of other DPSs. I think he's better. I think he can reach 100k. I think he's better than all the other old DPSs. That includes, maybe my Hu Tao, maybe Xiao, maybe Al Haitham, maybe he's better than all of them, just damage-wise, which is insane to say. But that's what you're getting on this banner, which, we're talking about Columbina in the future. We're talking about other banners that you could possibly pull on. I don't know if other banners are giving you 4 units. Well, that's if it includes Varesa. If you get Varesa, plus 3 other units that are literally so usable. Like, there's so many banners that are out there that you have I don't know, a Kirara, a Barb, a Noelle. Are you using those characters? Are you? Do they even add any value to your account? They don't. But if you're a new player and you get Yansan Chevruz and Gaming, oh my god, it's like you won the lottery. Oh my god, this banner is so incredible. And I can't stop talking about this. Please pull. Okay? But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're talking a lot about the banner and I'm getting ahead of myself. But let's talk about Varesa, because she's the one I love. And what makes me love her is her gameplay. Okay, I got Varesa. It was very fun, actually, because I had a Christmas Eve party with my friends and cousins and family. But when everyone left, I was only left with my cousins and friends who I played Genshin with. I brought out my Steam Deck, and then I pulled for Varesa, and I said, maybe there'll be a Christmas miracle for me. And there kind of was, because I got Varesa and Shalonin and C6 on Yansan and Chevrus. I only got C4 on Gaming. I'm really tempted to pull, but that might not be very responsible. But still, I got C6s on the characters I really wanted, and Varesa, and I got a Shalonin out of it too, so, that was good luck. I really like that. I had 200 something pulls, so it was a lot of pulls still, but still, I had a great time. I pulled, but, I was having a party, I was drinking with my friends, so I put my Steam Deck aside, we talked a little bit, but then I got home, I slept. When I woke up the next day, this is Christmas Day, all I could think about was getting on my computer and playing Genshin and killing every single boss in Teyvat with Varesa, because I just loved her gameplay so much. As soon as I tried it, hit E, hit plunge, hit E, hit E, hit plunge, hit special burst. Oh my god. Everything's so much fun, and it's so engaging. Such an engaging playstyle that I've never really experienced before, because a lot of my characters that I really like playing, I really like Al Haitham. I like Skirk, but they're kind of like combos. They're very long. You kind of have to go through Al Haitham's whole thing, which is like Q, then all the N5, N2, and then E, and then charge, and then N5. It's hard. With Skirk, there's kind of a bit of a combo too. It's kind of long, it's not that satisfying. But with Varesa, for you brain rot kids out there like me, you're hitting plunge, and you're hearing the sounds that are going ching, 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 and you're just plunging, and you're killing everything. Instant gratification. And I don't know the last time I really did like a world tour of Teyvat and really tried to kill everything. Other than just with Varesa, because it was just so much fun to do it with Varesa. I literally had to go on, ask my friends, like, hey, can I go into your world? Kind of killed all my stuff in here. Maybe you guys still have mobs and I could kill them with my Varesa, because I just love it so much. And here's one thing that's really important to me. I don't know if it's important to you. She doesn't need burst to do damage. She doesn't need burst to do damage. Can you believe that? Now, this is my issue with a lot of characters. When it comes to exploration, it's hard. When you're exploring, you're doing stuff, you're using Hu Tao in the overworld, you might as well want to just be suicidal. You will be. Because, sorry, a trigger warning. But also, you will be. Because Varesa, Hu Tao, well, she damages herself, first of all. She's out there, she's burning grass, so she might burn herself to death. She needs bursts sometimes to heal herself, and it's just not fun. Okay, and also you need vape, so you have to do a setup. But there are a lot of characters I would never use in the overworld because of that burst problem. I don't like bursting. I don't like when when you require a burst to do damage, because I don't like when those things aren't full. The burst circle thing, I don't like when it's not glowing, because, I don't know, it looks horrible. And also, It's annoying. I have to go get energy because I just want it to be full. Sometimes I kill something. I don't know if I'll get energy, until the next, I don't know how many runs away. So I just love Varesa. All you need to do is do skill. You do skill and you do two plunge, and then another skill and then two plunge, and then mini burst if you want to. But I don't do that in Overworld because I don't want to run out of energy. It's very easy. You can kill everything with just skill. Now Skirk is the same. And Nefer is the same. You can kind of use them in Overworld, but I don't like using Nefer, I realize, because the application of Hydro application is just not good enough with my Kokomi. I don't like using Aino because it requires burst. But maybe with Columbina, maybe it'll be a lot better. But Varesa, oh my god. The first time I really, I could use burst if I wanted to, because I just know I'm gonna kill all their stuff, so I will. But then at the same time, most of the times I really just don't. So I save it for those, monsters, those mobs in the open world that are kind of like beefy. I'm like, maybe I'll do a mini burst. Anyway, I have a Neon San with a Fav Lance. She gets my burst stopper immediately. That Fav Lance is so good in the overworld, by the way. And you have Chevy, who is there to apply her buffs. Okay, so all I do, literally, my setup for when I'm doing mobs in the overworld, I'm just going around, I hit something with Varesa, so it applies Electro. I do a hold E on Chevy, and that applies her buff. And then I just do plunges on Varesa, and it's like 100k every time, bro. It's like 150 sometimes. And that's all I need to, there's no other things. There's, some other characters that you're going out there with, Dendro characters, Hyper Bloom characters. It's hard. You gotta set up a Hydro, you gotta set up an Electro, and then you gotta set up your Dendro, and it just takes too long. Okay, but Varesa, bang, one Chevy E, bang, plunge, you're dead. This is so much fun, you guys. Okay, and I can't explain how fun it is. I mean, you can't know until you really go and try. So I implore you to go into her, trial and just do the things. It's just so satisfying. I swear to you that maybe if you get on that trial, you'll be hooked, just like I was, because it's just so good. It's just so good. And also, look how cute she is. She's so cute, Look at her. She's just killing stuff. It's very fun. And also, all her animations, they're just hearts. Did anyone realize that? Anyone realize that they're just hearts flying away from her body? When she does a plunge, the plunge circle around her, it's actually a heart, it's not a circle. Okay, so she does AoE in a heart pattern, not to mention the little hearts that are just flying off of her body because of her bubbliness and her personality and her just wonderful nature of being a cow who is lovely and great and does so much damage and is so much fun to play. Okay, I just love her so much. It's very clear. But we can't look at Varesa in a vacuum, okay? We have to talk about teams. And that's what we'll do now. So, the Varesa team. I did say earlier that I use Durin. This is my favorite team. I have Varesa, Yansan, Chevy, and Durin. But you can replace Durin with Mavuika. They do similar damage if you do the proper combos. And if not, you could go Shangling, which may be a little bit of a DPS loss, but it's free. It's Shangling. Everyone has a Shangling. You can get it from Abyss. Or you could use Pyro MC, matter of fact, which is even more free. You just have to do some quests. Like, this team, if you use Pyro MC or you use Shangling, it's a one-cost team, very cheap. But let me tell you about this team. You might think, well, it's just whatever. But let me tell you, this is maybe, well, it currently is, the highest damaging team on my account. And mind you, I have Lauma and I have Nefer, and I have Nefer's signature. Okay, Varesa, for the time being, before Columbina comes out, this is the highest damaging team on my account. And not only is it the highest damaging team, which you can expect from this pairing of 3 characters plus 1 Pyro slot, well, it's just so much fun. It's so much fun and it does so much damage. You know what that means? That means you just want to use it all the time, whenever you can. And that's what I've been doing. I've been using it whenever I can. But okay, I've been using this team, I used Shangling in the 4th slot in Abyss. She worked great. I like that. I also used Varesa in Stygian and she hit like a truck. That was so good. Well, that boss was made for her. It gives you attack percent, I think, when you jump into the air and you plunge. But still, that was 13 million HP on that boss and she did it easy. Very fun, also. And, Imaginary Theater, I'm excited to do. I don't know if she's going to be on the roster or if Electro's on the roster, but I'm excited to use her there. And she's just so good because she does so much damage while being so fun. But another thing about her, okay, I've already talked about damage, I've talked about the fun. Let's talk about the comfort of this team. this team, the reason why I want to use it in Overworld, the reason why I want to use it at all in the over the world of Teyvat is because of the comfort. I have a team that I like to use. I've really been attached to recently, which is Yai Miko, Albedo, Durin, and Chevrus. It's a weird team. I have Albedo there and Durin for the Hexerai buffs. I have Chevrus for overload damage, and I have Yai because I like Yai. AFK kind of gameplay. You put down your stuff, you put Albedo down. You know, you use Durin if you want to, you use Chevrus, and it just kills stuff. You know, so I really like that team because it's comfy. Just like in the Varesa team with Yansan and Chevrus, it's comfy because of Chevy. Chevy's such a good healer, and she's such a good buffer, and all she needs to do is use that E, and she can buff, and she can heal at the same time. I never have to worry about eating food, okay? We'll talk about Chevy a little bit later, but very comfy. But Yansan also provides some healing. So I think it's if you use some Night Soul or something, or Yansan uses Night Soul, you get healed by a percentage of Yansan's attack. That's about like 1,000 something when I use my Yansan. And with that, along with Chevy, just in Overworld, it's enough healing that I never really have to worry at all about it. Okay? Another thing about comfort is running. Varesa's running. She just runs. All she does is run, use her skill. She just runs. You run out, use her skill again because there's 2 charges. And guess what? When you're out, you switch to Yansan. You switch to Yansan and she also does some running. And then you hit sprint while she's doing her run on her skill. And it's like you're going through warp drive. You're warping through space. She's going so fast. It makes it so fun to just traverse because you know you'll get there so quickly. And also it's fun because Varesa, when she runs, like she kind of flies off at, like when there's a cliff, she just kind of jumps and flies off the cliff. Very easy for her to do. And also she doesn't take fall damage most of the time. I think she does sometimes. But when you're in Natlan, you know, you have the phlogiston bar, you're just running for eternity. I swear. It's so much fun. You get there so quick, you're running around, you're healing, you're killing everything because of all your damage. What better? What else? What else could you ask for? Nothing. It's so good. It's so good. And I know I don't really like using bursts in Overworld, but sometimes I do, because sometimes there's some, you know, mobs in the open world and they're like pretty strong. So sometimes I do. I go Chevy E, I don't really do her burst, and then I go Durin burst. I catch the particles from Chevy, I go on Durin, I catch Durin's own particles, I go Q and then E on Durin so he can catch his own particles and he can rebuild the bar. And then I go Yansan, I go skill, attack, burst, and then hopefully that procs the Fab, and then she can get her own Fab particles, and then you kill stuff, and guess what? All of the stuff is already back up, because I built a sufficient amount of ER on my Durin, and is also on my Yansan. My Yansan could be a little bit better. So could my Durin. But really, I've made it so that they get it instantaneously, because I really hate when it's not full. And also in rotations in Stygian, you know, you really need a lot of ER, so someone needs to be holding Fab. So sometimes, you know, I'm using Varesa. I'll choose, yeah, maybe I'll do a mini burst. You know, maybe I'll do a special burst. I'll just do the plunge. I could get it back because I have Yansan. I'll just run with Yansan or Varesa. I'll run to the next thing and use Fav, and like that gives me so many particles. For sure, Varesa can get it back. It's just so good. Like, I don't even like bursting in Overworld, but this team makes me want to do it because I can do it. It will not take me 1 million years to regain that burst because I just have enough ER, and also this team is just easy to use. You know, Durin resupplies particles for himself, and Yansan has Cinder City, which also gives you energy, and also she has Fab, so it's easy, it's nice, very fun and comfy, and does a lot of healing, does a lot of damage. Honestly, name one better team than that, more comfy. You know, even Mavuika, she's fine. I don't really like Mavuika, she just spins in a circle. Also, I have high ping, so I can't really do the damage, I can't do the combos, you know, so whatever. Anyway, you can't really name a better team, more comfy, more fun, more engaging, you know, does more damage. You can't. Even Flynn's, you know, Flynn's doesn't really have a sustain on the team other than Nepha Shield. Maybe you could go Proto Amber on Sucrose, but why would you do that? Maybe Proto Amber on Columbina, then he could have a healer. But still, you need burst for that. Healing on this team, don't even need burst. The best, honestly. What can I say? But now, one thing that makes this team just so good, okay? One of the things, you know, we have Yansan, we have Durin, they're both great characters, wonderful characters. Sorry about that. I ran out of battery because all I could do is yap and it never ends. But anyway, Chevy. Let's talk about Chevy. Because Durin and Neonton are great. They're wonderful. But this team works because of Chevy. Chevy might really be the best 4-star in the game. And we know there are 4 stars who are better than 5 stars. So Chevy really is definitely one of the best characters in the whole game. In the whole entire game, she might be really one of the best characters. Okay? Because let's go through what she does for you. Alright? First of all, she reduces Pyro and Electro Res by 40%. Alright? She increases your attack by 40%. And if you have C6, well, she increases your Electro and Pyro damage bonus by 60%. Okay? So that's Res Shred, that's attack buff, and that's damage percent bonus. Okay? And she's a healer! Who said this was fine? I mean, there's Bennett. You know, people love Bennett, and he gives a huge amount of attack. I don't really like Bennett. Personally, I don't really like Bennett. Whenever I use him, his healing is a lot. Well, I'm on an HP, and I'm on a healing bonus, circlet, because I just like the survivability. But I don't really like using Bennett, because even if he's so good, I even have a Kill of Favonia, so he has the most high level of attack buff. I hate Circle Impact. Okay, because again, I have bad ping, and maybe I'm just bad mechanically at the game. I can't dodge. I get knocked out of that circle all the time. I can't heal when I'm out of the circle. Sometimes I get knocked out. I can't get the attack buff, and I can't snapshot properly. It's very hard. Okay, so honestly, I never use Bennett because I don't really have a team that requires Bennett other than during DPS, which again is annoying because of Bennett. And also annoying because you can't properly, apply enough hydro to vaporize your charge attack on Durin. It's tough. But Chevy, a lot of people out there, they have buffs that, they just do one thing. They just do one thing. They either, Res Shred, they either attack buff, they either give you damage bonus, or they either heal. Like, only a few characters have 2 of those 4. Some have 3. Not really, I don't know. Well, a lot of them just have 1. But Chevy has 4. 4. Red Shred attack buff, damage bonus, and heal. How is it 4? I don't know how it's all 4. But she has all 4. She's like an avatar of supporting. She has all 4 elements in harmony when the Fire Nation attack. She is that good. Okay? And the reason why she's so good and so usable, even if you look at Bennett on paper, he's like, this guy's the GOAT. Okay, he does so much. He's a great battery. Gives you so much attack percent and heals. But wait, you gotta stay in the circle, which a lot of people have challenges with that, especially me, because I'm not good. So I get knocked out. I can't get that. But Chevy, you don't even need to burst. You don't even need to burst. My burst is level 1. No, it's level 4 because of Constellation. But literally, I just leveled up her skill. Excuse me, I'm getting a little too passionate about Chevy because I love her, okay? But Chevy, literally, all you need to do is hold skill on something that has Electro, and that's it. Hey, you get a Red Shred, you get attack buff, you get damage bonus, and you heal from one hold E. That's it, okay? That's insane. This is insane how good she is. I can't even wrap my head around it. Okay, this isn't the Varesa banner, this is the Chevy banner. And I implore all of you to try to get Chevy. I know the damage bonus is locked behind C6, and C1 to C5, marginal. They don't really make a difference. But C6 is where it's at. So if you could, you have a lot of extra pulls. If you get to C6, you're getting one of the best characters in the game. And she's on the Varesa banner. And she's the best for Varesa. And she's the best for a lot of people. Okay? She's just the GOAT. Okay, not only does she heal, right? Okay, so she heals like, for me, she heals like 3,199 or something, 3,200, okay, every tick for I don't know how many ticks for the active party member, right? But if you have C6, you get another party-wide heal of 4,000 around 4,000 something HP for your entire party, okay? So essentially, if you're doing something and you're just using Chevruse's hold E, because that's how you buff anyway. At the end of your rotation, your characters have so much HP, bro. They don't even need to stand on a circle. They don't need to be in a specific zone. They don't need to do burst. They just need to hold E. And then you could just have a character that's full of HP. You don't need to eat food. What is food? I even have 1,800 Matsutake meat roll. I have so many, but still, I don't need it because you know why? Chevy exists. I can just hold E whenever I want. I don't need energy. I don't need an enemy to hit. I don't need anything. I just fire it into the sky and I get healing. So much healing. And also a party-wide heal at the end of the 12-second duration if you have C6. Oh my god. Honestly, and also she buffs so much. Okay, she buffs so much just from that hold E. So honestly, like I said with Varesa, you just walk up to the enemy, you apply Electro, you hold E with Chevreuse, you do an overload, and then there you go. You get 40% res shred, you get 40% attack, you get 60% pyro electro damage bonus, and you're healing. And you're healing. So even if that Ruin Guard spins on you and slaps the shit out of you, you know, and it doesn't matter. You plunge, you do 150k with your Varesa, and guess what? You're full HP again. Not even a problem. No sweat. I can even stand on the water. You know, the water that's electrocuted because you're using Varesa and you electrify things. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Because I have Chevy. That's the difference. That is the difference. She's such a difference maker. And I can't imagine my account without her. I mean, I tried my girlfriend's Klee with Chevy, and oh my god, Klee is so good. I know with the Hexrai boss, a lot of characters are good now. I think I have to try Razor. My Razor's also C6, he's level 40. Maybe I'll build him, but yo. Overload isn't a thing. It's never been a thing. The whole the overload reaction doesn't actually give you damage. It's not the overload reaction. It's because Chevy exists. You know, I'm even considering, you know, I don't like going around with Nefer because she's kind of squished, especially with me hyping. Even with the dash cancels, I'm getting hit around a lot. You know, I need to apply Hydro, whatever. I'm considering just putting Chevy on the fourth slot of every single team because of just how much comfort that healing gives you from just holding E. By the way, even if that team doesn't have Pyro or Electro, I don't care. I'll just hold E with Chevy. I'll just do it because it's just the healing is just so good. Okay, you don't have to stay in a circle. You don't have to. Hey guys, come here near me so I can heal you. You know, no, you just heal. It just heals. It just works, and you're buffed, and you're strong, and it's Chevy. She has a gun. Who has a gun? No one has a gun. She's cool. I love her. Oh my god. I never eat my Matsutake meat rolls anymore because Chevy is all the meat I need. Huh? Let's have a talk about the real meta. The real meta talk. Okay? Power creep, all those things. Power creep is real with Genshin. You know, pre-Natlin, all the nations lived in harmony. But the Fire Nation, the Fire Archon attacked, and she blew the door for the possibilities of DPSs, and she was calced at like 130k when everyone else was even like sub 100 or maybe 100k with Novelette. Mavuika blew the doors on the whole thing, alright? But no one really caught up to that 130k, alright? Well, with Nodcry, there's another character who's gonna blow the water out of everything, and that's Columbina. She's gonna bring the damage floor up very high because with Flynn's, with Nefer, you know, with Zebai, those are all like 130 to maybe 150k teams, right? For reference, Varesa is calcing at 125k, from what I saw, if you have Durin. So she's calcing really well. She's almost at that level of Zebai, right? 130 of Flynn's, of whatever Nefer. Sustainless Nefer is really high, but no one really wants to do that. Sustainless Nefer, you'll just die. But Varesa's almost there. That's saying that, I mean, just, that's not even saying the whole new wheelchair comp, which is just Columbina plus an Nefa. You put that on any team. I heard Hu Tao, Columbina, and Nefa. I forgot who's on the fourth slot. But with Columbina and a Nefa with Hu Tao, that's 130k based on projected calcs. That's insane. That's more than Varesa. So if it's true that Columbina and plus Inefa just wheelchairs any DPS to become, you know, more than 100k in the calcs, then I don't know. We're talking a different game here. But hear me out. Hear me out. The lunar stuff is being very shilled at the moment lots of stuff in Abyss, lots of stuff in Stygian Onslaught. It requires Lunar. You need to do Lunar stuff to even just... there's so many mechanics now that require specific units and specific archetypes that if you don't have that, it's hard to brute force. Now you can brute force, and Varesa is known as one of those brute forcers, but this whole region, this whole Nodcry thing, this whole version, it's really all about just Lunar stuff. Lunar Charge, Lunar Bloom, and Lunar Crystallize. Maybe there will be more Lunar stuff in the future. And they're good now. I'm saying they're good now. But sometimes you come across, you go in the overworld, and you try to apply you try to apply Hydro, and you can't, and it feels like utter garbage. I hate Nodcry stuff, because it's an easy counter, honestly. If there's an enemy where you can't apply any kind of, Hydro on it, then you're kind of cooked, right? And who's to say that maybe in Snezhnaya, they're gonna say, you know what? No more Lunar anything. We're moving on to a different kind of meta now. And it just completely blocks any of the new Nodcry stuff. Then you're cooked. If you're super invested in all this Nodcry stuff, and you're not getting any units from the past, like a Mavuika from the Natlan, even from the Fontaine, all these units from the past, if you're not getting, well, you might be cooked. Because it's easy to block, right? And I know that's kind of wishful thinking, or maybe just projection that it might not even be real. But I'm just saying, even if the damage floor has really been raised and it does so much compared to all the other ones, it still does have its downsides. Now, another downside is multiple cost teams. Now, Zibai is kind of better in this sense because she only needs Columbina, and then she has a 4-star support that's on her banner. So if you do get a C6, it's huge. She's going to be one of the best in the game. But if you get C2, it's still decent. She'll be at 130, so kind of near Varesa. That's a 2-cost team. But if we're looking at the other Lunar stuff, Flynn's, Enefa, Columbina. Nefer, Lama, Columbina. You need all three to really get to that next level. If you have no Columbina and you only have Nefer and Lama, well, you're doing 110, which is less than Varesa. Right? With Flynn's, you're doing 110, less than Varesa. As currently it is. And, all these things make it look really great, and it really is. But you only have one Columbina on your team. Right? So you're going to have one team that's good, and the rest, you're going to need characters for the rest of your other teams too. So, if you don't have, this is the thing, if you don't have the Nodcry DPSs, if you don't have a Flynn's, if you don't have a Nefer, and if you're not getting Zibai, I don't know what Columbina is really getting you. You could get Columbina and an F at the same time from this banner, which is tough. And that'll be a good wheelchair for you, sure. You could be top of the meta, not top, but you'll be around there of the meta, and that's great. Really wonderful, Columbina's great. And there's lots of Lunar stuff. So if you don't have any Lunar stuff, it's gonna be hard to play the game. So maybe if you go Columbina and an Efa, then you'll be good. But if you don't have an Efa, and you're just getting Columbina, honestly, it's not really doing anything for you. Maybe you could play with Yehuda if you pulled for Durin, or you could play Aino with a double Hydro team. But I don't know how that would even work. Like, you still need Lama to do blooms. You need an Efa to do electro charges that do any damage. It's hard. It's very tough. So if you're only getting you're saying, I won't pull for Varesa because I want Columbina, she's the Archon. Without the DPSs, she doesn't even work. So if you do want to get her, and then the DPSs later, maybe. But if you get Varesa now, who comes with 2 of the best units in the entire game, plus 1 very, very good DPS on the same banner, you get a team that just works, man. It just works, and it's so much fun, and it's so comfy, and is engaging, and it just makes you want to play. It just makes you want to play. So maybe you could get Varesa now. You could look at Columbina, maybe you give it a try, maybe get lucky. If not, then you wait. You wait until you have a plan of like, okay, I'll get Flynn's on the rerun, I'll get Nefer on the rerun, and then you could get Columbina on the rerun because she's an Archon. They rerun pretty often, right? So you have that choice. But even then, it's nothing like this Varesa thing because you just need to pull once on one banner. If you're getting Columbina, you have to go Flynn's, you have to go Enefa on 3 separate banners, or Nefer and Lama on 3 separate banners, and Columbina. It costs so much just to get that one team that's so good. And even then, Varesa is just a little bit under if you have Durin. She's just a little bit under, man. And not to mention the possibility of Nod Cry just being completely blocked because you can't apply Hydro. That's a possibility. I know it's maybe fairly low, but it is something that could happen. And, you know, Varesa's been brute forcing things since Natlin. Even through Nod Cry, she can still brute force a lot of stuff. And maybe after Nod Cry, she'll still be brute forcing a lot of stuff. I know it's hard to get a unit that's older, right? Because we know how the power ceiling has been raised, the power floor has been raised. But you're going for an older unit, maybe they're going to be left in the dust. But honestly, she's really not that far behind. She's still there. She can still brute force all that content. That's floor that's been raised. She's right there. She's standing around. She's available. She can do it. And she doesn't need all this hydro application, all that bullshit. Okay, she just works. And I love her. I love her personally. Okay, we've finally gotten to the conclusion after all of my yapping. And thank you guys for staying with me all this time. But Varesa, what can I say about Varesa? You know, it's not like I've spent like maybe 50, 40 minutes glazing her or anything. Oh, glazing some Chevy too. Chevy deserves it. But seriously, if I had to sum it up, alright? Varesa is honestly the most fun character that I've ever played in Genshin Impact. Her banner already comes with her best supports, which are some of the best in the entire game. She's the best for exploration. So much fun, just running around. You could do the run thing twice. If you have C1, even longer. Then you could switch to Yansan, who also runs. So easy. Very comfy and strong team in the overworld. You know, Chevy already heals you and buffs you just from a hold E without using burst. You don't even need to use burst on Varesa. You can just kill stuff. 150k plunges, easy. Her best team, even if, you know, Columbina is on the horizon, might be left in the dust, still really hangs around there in that area. If 130k is around that new range of top DPS, well, versus 125 can still hang. She's right there too. She can brute force a lot of endgame content. She has been doing it since since Natlin, and she's still doing it in Nod Cry. She's still viable in Nod Cry, and maybe even after. Her banner honestly has some of the best value in the entire game. Not only do you get like a top 5 carry, top 5 DPS in the entire game, you get Chevy, which is maybe one of the best characters in the entire game. Best 4-star by far. You get Yansan, another one of the best 4-stars, one of the best buffers in the entire game, especially for Natlin carries or Enclarend. And you get Gaming, the best 4-star DPS in the entire game. All from one banner. And if you get all of these guys to C6, they're more than just usable. They're really, really good. You know, Chevy, Yansan, they're on the upper echelon of supports. Very, very good. You fight for those because they're just so good. Gaming maybe a little bit under that, but still at C6, one of the best. And all from one banner. I can't stop stressing just how important it is that it's all from one banner. If you're a new player, you're just starting out, and you just spent all your pulls on this one banner, well, guess what? You have the best team, one of the best teams. You have so much comfort. You have so much versatility because a lot of these characters on these teams you could put on other teams. You actually have 2 teams that could maybe beat Abyss if you just start right now. You get Varesa, Yansan, Chevy, Shangling, and then you can go. I don't know what the best Gaming teams are because I haven't really looked into him and I haven't used him. But you could go Gaming, Rosa, maybe Charlotte because she applies and she also heals, or maybe Sucrose. Like, those are 2 teams. You have a Gaming team and a Varesa team that maybe are good enough for Abyss. Both plungers, but both Electro and Pyro. You have some versatility there. All from one banner. That's insane. Okay, and one thing I have to say, even if I'm a day 1 player, the best fun I've ever had on this game is with Varesa. And that's not a lie. You know, her place in the meta, it might slip. But she's one of the strongest characters still. But you know, outside of this meta, like doing story quests, going exploring, just doing dailies and stuff, if you use Varesa, she's gonna make you want to play this game more than ever. And I absolutely love her. Forget the meta. Varesa is forever. That's all I got to say. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you sticking around. And that's all. Got Varesa now. Hope it worked. Bye.